Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. And for this week's market report, we're going to do a little bit of a catch up because I haven't done one of these in quite some time. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the MLS and see what numbers are doing there. And then I will go down into individual breakdowns of Guthrie, Oklahoma City, Norman, and Edmond. So MLS wise, as far as the sale price is concerned, we have trended down since last month. So April we were at 261,641, and that was down from March, which was 270,295. As far as the new listings is concerned, so we are at 3,749 new listings. And that is up because in March we had 3,380. And so to give you all a little bit of reference of how much inventory is actually building into the market right now, our peak of inventory build dating all the way back to January of 2023 was in June of 2022 and in July of 2021, which both peaked at 3,422 respectively. So we're already surpassing that number by 300 so far, and we are in April. And so, we are about a month or two ahead compared to where we have been over the last couple of years as far as inventory is concerned. As far as homes for sale is concerned, that number is up. We are currently at 7,906 compared to 7,565 in March. Pending sales are also up. In March 2026, we had 2,587. In April, we had 2,739. And so that number is trending. And I would anticipate that would continue to do so as this inventory builds and buyers enter the market. As far as closed sales are concerned, so as a frame of reference, our peak of closed sales was dating all the way back to January of 2013 was 2,970, and that was back in July of 2020. Then, we did have some peaks in 21 and 22, and then we've leveled off over the last couple of years and peaked out somewhere around 2,500, give or take. So right now, we are trending up. In March, we were at 2,154. And in April, it was 2,291, and so we're starting to trend up in those numbers as well. As far as the days on market is concerned, that number's trended down. In March, we were at 35. In April, we were at 27. Months of supply is starting to creep up some. So as far as peaks are concerned, so our peak of inventory goes all the way back to April of 2013. We had 4.2 months worth of inventory. And obviously we hit a trough in trending towards 2022, and then we started climbing back out of it again at the end of 2022. And so right now we're at 3.8 months worth of inventory for the month of April, and that's up from March, which was 3.7%. And so we're still not at those inventory highs that we've had dating back to 2013, but we're starting to get pretty close. And so that is indicative of a healthier market than what we've had over the last several years. As far as pricing is concerned, for the MLS wide, the average for the list to sell price ratio is 98%. And so what that means is that if you have an accurately priced home, there's about 2% softness in the pricing. And so, that's something very different than what we saw in 2022, which exceeded what was actually being asked. And so we've kind of settled back down into the mid to high 90s. And so that number was 98.1 in March, and we're down to 98.0, so trending down slightly. As far as the price per square foot is concerned, that number stayed flat from March to April at 158. The average shows to pending has crept up slightly. We were at 10.5 showings on average, and now we are at 10.8. And then the shows per listing, that number's trended down a little bit. We're at 3.9 compared to 4.0 the month before. So jumping into our individual markets, remember these are weekly recaps. These next ones I'm going to go to as opposed to monthly ones. So we're at 300. So this is for Guthrie. So for Guthrie, our median list price currently is $348,500, and that's up slightly from the week before, which was $344,850. The median price of new listings is $235,899, and that number's down from $344,000 the week before. The price per square foot is trending up. We're currently at $178.62, and that's up from $175.68. The average days on market is trending up slightly. We're currently at 132 days on market compared to 129 as far as the averages are concerned. The median days is trending down. We're currently at 91 days compared to 98 last week. Price decreases in Guthrie, we are currently at 34.55%, and that's up compared to the week before, which was 30.63. Relisted inventory is down slightly. We're at 19.55 compared to 20.72, so almost a full percent difference. Inventory currently, there's 220 homes on market in Guthrie, and that's down slightly from 222 the week before. And the market action index is a 31 here. It's 30.99 compared to 30.78. Now, compared to all of our other markets, the market action index of 31 here indicates that we are a little bit more tilted towards buyers than sellers compared to the other three markets that we're going to take a look at. So moving on to Oklahoma City, the median list price is down slightly at $273,245, and that's down from $274,000 last week. The median price of new listings is up slightly. We're at $254,000 compared to $249,999, so about $4,000 give or take. Price per square foot is down slightly. We're at $162.63 compared to $163.01. Average days on market is trending up here. We're at 114 compared to 111 the week before. Median days on market is sliding down here also. We're at 60 compared to 63 the week before. Price decreases are up in this Oklahoma City market. We're at 39.47% compared to 36.13%. As far as relisted inventory is concerned, we're down slightly. We're at 12.73% compared to 13.45 last week. Inventory, we have 1,776 homes on market compared to 1,785. And the market action index for Oklahoma City indicates that it is a 38. And so that's up slightly from 37.65 the month before. So this is still a little bit more seller-friendly market compared to Guthrie. So moving on to Norman, median list price is $395,450. That's down from the week before, which was $399,950. Median price of new listings is $299,000. That's down from $369,950. So essentially what that means is that last week we had more homes go on the market that were on the higher end than the lower end, and that's kind of flipped this week on market. Price per square foot is $182.31 compared to $183.33 the week before. As far as the average days on market is concerned, we're at 121 compared. It's actually been that for the last 2 weeks. The last change we had was dating back to 17 April, which was 119. Median days on market is 56. That number's down from 63 last week. As far as price decreases are concerned, it's less than what we're seeing in Oklahoma City, but we're at 33.43% compared to 33.7%. Relisted inventory is down here. We're at 8.91% compared to 11.33 the week before. Inventory is relatively flat. We're at 359 compared to 362 the week before. And the market action index is a 37.45 compared to 37.47 last week, which is not a significant difference. So moving on to our last market, we're in Edmond, and the median list price in Edmond is $442,450. Last week it was $439,000, so up slightly. Median price of new listings is $437,500, and that's up from $409,900 the week before. Price per square foot is $194.86 compared to $194,044. Average days on market is 115 compared to 114 the week before. Median days on market is currently 63, and it's been that way going all the way back to April 17th, so relatively flat. As far as price decreases are concerned, we are at 30.4% compared to 29.19% the week before. Relisted inventory is relatively flat. We're at 14.05% this week compared to 13.99% last week. Inventory number, we're at 954 compared to 908. And the market action index here in Edmond is a 34.60, which isn't much of a difference from the week before, which was 34.73. And so what all these numbers are really kind of indicating is what we've talked about over quite some time, is that we are going into our spring selling market. So we're going to start seeing more activity as school lets out, summer starts to take over. And so that inventory or that increase in activity is probably going to continue. The difference between this year and years past is that we are seeing more inventory than we've seen in a long time. Now, you may be hearing stuff from people saying, oh my gosh, this is a bubble and everything else. I would just caution you that 40% of homes on average don't have a mortgage on them. So a lot of the doom and gloom out there, yes, there are some considerations of what's going on in the world, but as far as whether or not we're in a bubble, the numbers just don't bear that out right now. And so what we're going to have to wait and see is exactly like, what is the inventory, the final top end of the inventory going to look like over the next couple of months. But the reality is that this market is a healthier market than the 2022 market, which created a lot of the challenges with affordability that we're dealing with today. So, a balanced market is 6 months worth of inventory, and we have not seen anything near that since, especially since 2022, and not even as long ago as 2013 either. So what this means right now for buyers and sellers is that sellers need to understand that buyers have more options than they've had before in a long time, and that they are really sensitive right now to price and condition. Buyers need to be aware of the fact that those 2.75% interest rates that we saw a couple of years ago, those are an anomaly. And so you do have more options than you've had right now, possibly putting you in a little bit better negotiation position than you've been in a really long time. But if you're waiting for those 2.75% interest rates, the likelihood of those coming back are highly unlikely. And if they do come back, just like when we saw those in 2022, there's probably something significant going on in the world that is impacting those specific rates. And so we may have challenges outside of the residential housing market that could create issues, with it. And so if you have any questions, if you want to know specifically about your city or town, feel free to reach out. My number is 580-917-2731. I appreciate y'all watching, and have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.